Welcome back to the garage. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please go ahead, click on subscribe, and also click on that bell to receive all the updates and notifications on the channel. All right, so today we are continuing to work on this 1976 C3, and one of the last things I have to do before I take off the jack stands is adjust the parking brake. I live in Massachusetts, where regardless of the age of the car, they have to go through yearly safety inspections. One of the things that they check is the emergency brake, make sure it's holding. Even though this is not automatic, it's still got to be functional. So emergency brakes or parking brakes, whatever you want to refer to them as, can be a little bit challenging depending on how they're set up and how they work mechanically. And the Corvette, the C3, is a little bit different, just because the access to the adjuster is a little bit different because of the independent rear suspension in the back. Most cars that you'll see, the adjuster is accessible through the back, but because it's got half shafts coming in the back, there's no access to it. So what you have to do, you have to go through the front. And if you've never seen a rotor on a C3 Corvette, typically they are riveted on to the hub, and what you have to do is you have to drill the rivets out to get access to the star adjuster. So I'm going to show you what you need to do. And it's pretty simple. First thing you need is a crowbar to spin the wheel, a little screwdriver, a little flat bladed screwdriver, and a drill. I prefer to use a step drill for stuff like this. It just makes it a little bit easier. All right, so why don't we get down there? I'll show you what I did and made this process relatively easy. All right, so the first thing you have to do, and this is an absolute must, if you're doing any type of work on the rear assembly, especially when it comes to spinning the hub or the rotor or whatever you have to do, you have to jack up the trailing arm, because if you don't, what will happen is if it's in full droop, the half shafts will bind, and as you're adjusting the parking brake, you'll think you're actually good with the parking brake being engaging, but actually it's not accurate, because what you're feeling is the resistance in the U-joints on the half shafts as they start to bind. So just go ahead, put a jack underneath the rear shock mount, jack it up to the point where the half shaft is somewhat parallel, but not to the point where you're lifting it off the jack stand. All right. So what we've done is we've got to that point. The car is in neutral, and what I've done is I've rotated the rotor, and I've used this hole to enlarge it up. So what you're gonna have to do is, to make it a little bit easier, if your rotor hasn't already been drilled out as far as the rivets, that's the first thing you have to do. But to make it a little bit easier, just for demonstration, these rotors have already been drilled out. But even though these are drilled out, when you go to adjust the star wheel, trying to rock the screwdriver back and forth, you don't have a lot of play. So what I've done is I've taken a step drill, right? And honestly, this is really the best tool for this type of job, because using one of these step drills, going through these cast iron rotors, it actually makes short work of it. It goes through it pretty quickly. So what I've done is I've enlarged that hole 2 or 3 sizes, and when I enlarged the hole, I put it in roughly the 9 o'clock position, because put it in that position, I know there's relatively low risk of hitting any brake hardware like the shoes or the springs back there, just because of the construction of the shoe. So it's roughly at a 9 o'clock position, right? So now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the hub or the rotor until about the 6:30 position. It's going to be, the star wheel is right around here. All right, so like I said, we've rotated the rotor to the approximate 6:30 location. And when you're doing this, use a crowbar or a flat-sided pry bar. Don't use a breaker bar, because when you're trying to do that with a breaker bar, because it's round, it will actually slip off. With a flat surface, it's a little bit easier to manage. So we've lined that hole up with the star wheel. So now you can see it. It's pretty easy to do. All right, so now we're at the point of the adjustment, and there's always a question, which way do you go? If you're adjusting the driver's side, what you want to do is you want to take your screwdriver and you're going to go on the top of the star wheel and you're going to push, all right? And that's going to tighten it. That's going to actually put the shoes further out. If you actually want to loosen it, what you're going to do is you're going to go on the bottom of the star wheel and then you're going to push. But on the driver's side, you're going to push the top of it and that's going to tighten the pads. If you're on the passenger side, you're going to go on the bottom and push towards the driver, all right? So what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you real quick. I'm just going to go in there, and my star wheel actually goes pretty easily because I've already adjusted it. You know what? Depending on the age of your brake components, they may not decide to turn. If you get into that type of scenario, you could, worst case scenario, take the caliper off, take the rotor off, assuming that you already drilled all the rivets off and take it off. You can do that. That's the correct way to do it. Another thing you can do is, which I wouldn't recommend, but again, I think you would be pretty safe because again, where the shoes are located, you could, again, spray a little PV blaster in there, not a lot because you don't want to contaminate the rotor in there, and then just let it sit and see if it'll free up. Again, if you're not having much luck, then you got to take the caliper and the rotor off. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to make the adjustment, and then you're going to turn the rotor until you feel drag. I'm all right at that point. And then once you get drag, you can go ahead and go in the car, pull up on the e-brake or the parking brake, and then grab your crowbar and see if you can turn the rotor with the crowbar. If it doesn't, you're in good shape. You're pretty much done at this point. All right, guys, I hope this helps everybody out. So again, adjusting the parking brake on the C3 is a little bit different, but once you understand the process and where everything is located, it's not that hard to do. Just take your time. Don't do any damage. Don't make things worse than they already are. Just take your time and you'll be fine. All right, if there's any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comments box. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day. See ya.